Hi, everyone, and welcome to Business Statistics. This is EC245. This video will briefly go through the syllabus and some of the things that we'll be doing. We'll go into more in depth next week when we meet as a group. The first thing is we'll meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Baxter 100. We know that we're going to break the group in two, so half of the group will go Tuesday, Thursday, and the other half Wednesday, Friday, and I'll get you the breakdown very soon. My name is TJ Devine. I've worked here at IC for just over 10 years. You can find my office is upstairs in Kirby, 232. You can contact me by my office phone, which rarely anyone does, but it's on there. Also, I've included my cell phone, so if you'd like to text, you can definitely do that. Send me a message if you need a quicker response. I will respond back to email. I check my email pretty frequently. So if you want to send a message, I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And you can just find me in Gmail. If you type TJ, it should auto-complete the rest of that. Really hoping this semester, if you do have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. We'll try to get any questions you have worked out as quickly as possible, especially during this time of the semester. My office hours that I've set this semester are Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 1. I definitely know that I'll be on campus at that time. I left it open, so appointments, knowing that the schedules this semester in particular will be, very crazy. So go ahead and make an appointment if that doesn't work. I am expecting that we'll meet outside of that time pretty frequently. So they're not more hours on there just because I want to be available as much as possible. So just let me know if there's another time that you'd like to meet. You can also use the You Can Book Me option link to schedule an appointment if you'd like to meet. The You Can Book Me should give you a Zoom link. If you'd like to meet in person, just send me an email and we'll work at a time we can meet in my office, which is also fine. The office is big enough that we can be socially distant during that time. Let's talk briefly about the computer lab and some of the policies we'll have to follow to be safe there. We're in Baxter, so just check when you're on campus what the correct entrance to use and the correct exit for our class. We'll get there. We're in Baxter 100. We'll be required to wipe down the workstation when we enter the room, and then after class, we'll wipe down our workstations one more time. Let's see. I have to do this too, so if you remind me if I forget, but you can just take one wipe when you enter the classroom, wipe down the computer and the monitor, the keyboard, and then keep your wipe. If you fold it up, it should retain some of its moisture. And then at the end of class, you can wipe down your workstation again to make sure that we've left the class as clean as possible. And we'll have to wear our masks during class as well to keep everybody safe. All right, we'll get some practice with that next week. It'll be all kind of new and different, but I'll try to go through that with you to kind of remind us how this is going to work. Also, the computers are taped off so that everyone can be socially distant, and that's one of the reasons we have to split the class in half. So once you come in, we will create a seating chart so you kind of know to stay in that seat for the rest of the semester, mainly so that we can do contact tracing if we need to. So we'll create that seating chart first thing next week during your section that you'll meet. All right, and I think we'll have more questions, but if you have some, just ask about that. Our stats class, very similar to a lot of the other stats classes on campus. Actually, it's pretty interesting. We're all learning the same tools. We're going to look at data specifically from a business application, and that means we're going to use Excel almost every day in our class and how to analyze and examine some of these relationships that we're looking for. You can see, go ahead and go through the syllabus to kind of get a very specific idea of what we're going to cover. It's laid out very simple, but we're going to, the big thing is that we'll use Excel quite frequently because we want to use those tools and develop those tools so we get really familiar with them. And I'll tell you some stories of students who've graduated in the past and where they've said this is actually pretty valuable, learning the Excel, getting the practice with Excel that we have. Okay. Get your book next week. We'll start using that to kind of go through some of this stuff. It'll help too, the book. Also, I'll provide some instructional videos, but they also walk you through a lot of the templates and other Excel tools that we'll use in our class. We are blueprinted for the stats literacy, of course, and also science and society. So you can check where that helps you on your blueprint. We really have just a few things that will be graded on, or I guess several more. I'll kind of come down here to see exams. We'll have 4 exams throughout the semester. That's going to be half of your grade. And then we'll have assignments, almost weekly, probably get a little break when we have an exam. A project that you'll work on, and we'll talk about that. Quizzes, just practice quizzes, and then these review quizzes. We'll kind of mention that. Like I said, 4 exams throughout the semester. Exams are really an opportunity to show me what you've learned. And so hopefully, as you're answering those questions, you'll get some data. You'll have to run through it. So we'll try to make it as real world and applied experience that you need. These are going to be take-home exams, just so that we're prepared if we have to go offline and go remote again. It'll be consistent for the whole semester. All right, so we should be okay there. I'll give you at least a week to complete the exam so you have some little extra time to make those up. Very important that when you're doing exams, like this is the one area of our class where doing your own work is really, really important. It's very easy in our class since we're using Excel to borrow off someone else's work, but it's also very easy to catch someone who's doing that. Exams in particular, it really needs to be your own work, and any indication that it's not has to go through the honor code process. So that's very important. Again, we'll come back to that as we get closer to our first exam. Have about 8 problem sets during the semester. It's going to have you practice Excel. It's just getting us used to and getting familiar with the program. And that's really what those assignments are designed to do. Again, there's some language here. Actually, for assignments, encourage you to work together. A lot of times that makes things a little bit easier, but it's not a great idea just to copy or borrow someone else's work. You will not get the same practice. You won't get the same experience. And that's what I would encourage you not to do that, but definitely work together because your friend might have a little bit different approach and you might learn something that way. Okay. I think it says in here assignments will be due by 5 p.m. Used to do that. In this case, because everything's on Moodle, we might extend that back to like 10 o'clock, I think, is when we're going to make the assignments due. It's important that you get those assignments in on time so I can give everyone else the key so that you can go through and see what you got correct and incorrect. Once I've handed back the key, the answers are out there. It would be unfair to collect anything. If you need an extension, if there's something happening, just let me know and we can make some arrangement there. All right, so just contact me again. That's kind of a theme that we have here. If you contact me, we can usually work something out. Okay. Quizzes, same thing. These are just going to be little practice applications. The way I see things going for our class is that I'll give you some material to work on outside, and then you'll come in and you'll be ready and we might give you a quiz to kind of practice some of that stuff. So there might be some video tutorials, some practice, come in to class, show me that you're able to do some of that stuff. So that's where we can see some quizzes. And then on Moodle too, because we won't have as much like in-class time together, I'll create some review quizzes, some multiple choice questions where just going to test your fundamental understanding of some of the material. Okay. All right, so most of these quizzes will be due Wednesday at 10, just to make sure before we get those Thursday, Friday classes, so you get the review there. Okay. All right, now here's the fun part. We'll spend a lot of time next week together as a group talking about the project. This is it doesn't have to be complicated, but it is a little statistical research project. You'll have to find some data. You will take some of the tools and methods that we've developed and and apply them to the real data that you've collected or that you found. We don't want to make it too complicated. Remember, you want to kind of keep it simple, a nice, easy problem, something that it's easy to track and easy to analyze, something like that. We've broken down the project into sections so that as you go through, I can give you some feedback to kind of give you a little more information on how to do some of these things. So the first thing is by September 25th, we can do this by Zoom or just if you want to come and see me, just a quick mini conference. This usually takes 5 to 10 minutes. Just come talk to me about what you want to do, what you're interested in, so we can determine if there is data available to do your project. That's really the most important thing, finding the data. Then after we kind of know what your idea is, you can start writing your introduction. You don't even need your data for that. It's just going to be a quick kind of summary of what you want to do and what you expect. Then the hardest part of our project is probably going to be finding the data. If you want data, I have some data sets I'd be happy to let you use. You can get your data, and then once you have that, you might have to clean it up a little bit so you can use it. Take it, that'll be that next section. And then after that, in our class 2, this works out really nice, is that the methods section is like overlaps with what we're going to be doing in class. So as we do the methods, you'll be thinking about what kind of methods you'll use to examine your data. So you can write that section up. Actually, that one is probably the easiest one. We usually have a class where I'll sit down with you and just tell you, and it's like a sentence or two. Here's what I'm going to do. So that's a pretty simple part. All right, then after that, we'll have Thanksgiving break in between there, and then the last day of class is that December 4th. That's when the rest of your paper will be due. Any analysis, you'll know what the methods are. So any kind of statistical analysis and a conclusion, and then that would be your full stats project would be due that December 4th too. Okay, we will spend quite a bit of time talking about the project and making sure, because that's a pretty valuable experience you can get out of this class. Computer lab behavior, of course, we don't have as much time. I think since we're splitting the class in half, that's about 24 class periods. It's very important that we're efficient and use our time wisely in class. And so that means, number one, stay off social media or check an email. Just pay attention, stay focused on what we're doing in the class. Another one that's frustrating is if you're going to be working on the problem sets or other assignments from other classes, that's just going to slow us down and we won't have time to really deal with that this semester. So the way I would approach this is we're only meeting twice a week. For those 2 50-minute sessions, like let's dedicate ourselves just to doing the stat stuff. Okay, all right. There's going to be a lot of this is just kind of an everybody syllabi. It's going to have all of the different policies that we've got. And so they're in here, so we know if we need something, then we can reference this here. If something happens to you, like the most important thing, again, just contact me and we'll work it out. Our class is going to be designed so we can transfer it online very easily to the remote and virtual methods. So that's not going to be any problem. I hope that's not the case, but we can do that. If individually you have to go home or you can't be on campus for some reason, then please just contact me and we'll start working out what you can do so that you can still complete the course, even if you're not on campus. So we can do that. That's not going to be a problem. Okay. Use Moodle as much as possible. Moodle will have all of our information, assignments, all that stuff. And so if you use Moodle, you should be all right. Okay. Again, this just tells you what we'll need to do in Baxter 100. Wipe down your workstation before and after. Use the same seat. All that good stuff. We'll talk more about this when we come into class, but clearly be respectful to each other and everyone in the class. And we hope that you'll engage as much as possible if we do have to go remote. Just remember checking Moodle, doing the assignments. I don't think we want anyone to fall behind this semester if we do end up having to go remote. So please, if you do that, you'll be fine. It's what happened to the students in the spring. Those students who just kind of went through, we just gave them assignments, gave them videos to watch. maybe not the ideal situation, but they were able to get through it. Okay, and so it was all right. Try to scroll down here. Again, consequences of any violation, you get a 0 on the assignment if that's the first case. And then we've got our final exam is going to be, this is going to be a little bit hard. Let's see if we can rotate this a little bit. All right, that was interesting. It flipped me to the other angle. Here's kind of a tentative outline, what we can expect to do the rest of the semester. We'll just kind of see, again, the timing on these things might be a little different, so we might make some adjustments, but for the most part, if we get through this, we'll be in good shape. Quite possible, this is the first time doing this, that there might be a few things here that we need to move during the remote session. Like right now, we've got it, so we'll have to do regression during remote, but we might just add one more thing, but that shouldn't be a problem. Final exam will be a take-home exam. I'll give it to you, even though you're remote, you'll be able to work on it, while you're home. And so that one should be okay. All right. Again, if you have questions, this is kind of the quick run through of the syllabus. What are expectations, anything like that? Send me a message or book an appointment with me so we can meet and talk about it. But you've got 2 assignments up right now. You've got a quiz, and I think you've got a quick thing with some slides. So go through the slides. That's what you have to do today. When we meet next week, we'll get started, and I will separate your groups and get you an email out for what that's going to look like. All right, good luck. Excited to see everybody, and we'll get started here and see how this goes.